I'm Adam with OP Movement, and today we're going to be going over a lateral hip shift using a kettlebell. And this activity is great for warming up the hips, getting a little bit more relative motion out of those hips, and opening up some range of motion. So when it comes to loading into single leg activities or going through a running type gait motion, we typically have a little bit of movement of the pelvis, getting on top of the leg, rotating back to the other side, and our hips are constantly shifting. This takes place in a very, very small fraction, but we want to make sure that we have that ability to move with relative motion and a good amount of range of motion to actually load each side properly. And this activity can be great for warming up for your strength routines or adding into a mobility routine where you have a little bit more load in there and you're getting a little bit more control out of that movement. So I'm gonna grab a kettlebell in my right hand. I'm gonna get my feet just slightly wider than shoulder width. And from here, I'm gonna reach that weight down towards the opposite side ankle as I shift back into my hip. So I'm creasing at the hip, hinging back as I bend that knee and shift across. So now I'm a little bit more stacked up on this side. I can come back up, switch hands, and move in the opposite direction. So it's a crease, a bend at the knee, a shift across from the upper body, and I'm stacked nicely on top of that side. Going back and forth, you'll get good movement in and out of the hips, pushing out and across, loading and controlling into that side. From a side view, we can see it's not a squat and it's not just a full fold over. We're bending the knee and the hip together so that we're laterally lunging but hinging into that side, coming back up and switching. So long through the spine, loaded back through the hip, soft into the knee, and coming across with the opposite side hand, loading. This is going to get pelvis to rotate and load on top of that leg. Learn how to push out of it and shift across, and ideally open up some space at the back of the hips and get a little bit more range of motion and a little bit more relative motion so those hips can move smoothly and we can start to load laterally at different angles to prepare us for the demands of running.